Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining today for our cooking show here with Integral's Cooking Show. So, first off, let's talk about what this is. So, kind of a funny name for what we're calling here is the basic idea is that with AI agents, it's all about different ingredients, trying different things, just like how a recipe would be and just like how you would be when you're actually cooking something. So this is where the idea is we're going to be meeting with experts in this case, and we're going to be taking all the recipes, taking all the ideas, and basically cooking and making up this AI agent. So as we get started, some quick housekeeping things that I want to put up. First and foremost is that this is meant to be fun, an interactive, kind of low-key way of us interacting with you all and talking about agentic AI. Now, if you notice, you can also put things in the chat. You can interact with us. And if you have any questions throughout this entire time, that's where I will say, go ahead, throw them in the chat. We'll try to answer the questions as much as we can while we're actually going through this in the first place. But we want to make this as interactive and as fun as possible. We're going to keep things lighthearted. We might, throw some things around. We might make a few jokes at each other here and there. It's all about having fun and interacting honestly with you all. So without further ado, basically what I want to do is introduce our amazing agentic AI engineer from our company. His name is Vlad Gurau, and he is an agentic AI engineer, like I said, that is working with customers and clients, and then also with like me and other people on the company to actually build and talk and do all things AI agents. Or you will hear a lot from us actually is the idea of AI workers. And this is all about where Vlad is going to share his experience and his idea on how to actually build an AI agent or AI worker for this. So for those of you that are here, this is all about people that want to be, agentic AI builders, solution architects, technical marketers in this case, or just in general leadership from a company or automation enthusiasts. Because as you've probably seen, everything in the market and everything on LinkedIn and YouTube and whatever in Twitter is all about agentic AI right now. And that is the space that we're living in. So today's session is going to be all about building an AI agent for marketing. And in this case, SEO descriptions and creating an agent that helps optimize for SEO optimization. So before we get any further than that, Vlad, thank you very much for joining us today. And would you say that me calling you, agentic AI engineer, all these things, is that pretty accurate that you would call yourself?
Well, I don't know about that. I would just go by Vlad. Mainly I'm a normal human being like everyone else. We just maybe a little bit more interested into this area and this side of things where like we're talking about agentic AI, right? So first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, to work with you and to be in contact with you and to be on the show. And well, what I would say is that normally, like whatever it's the case, we would start by gathering requirements from the customers. So even if it's an SEO AI worker, as you called it, like the main things that I would be interested in knowing beforehand would be like, what is the flow? Where do you want to get? And what are the inputs? These are the key ingredients, so to speak, in actually building agentic AI. So maybe if you can actually help me with that kind of information, we can actually do something live on the show today.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like this is actually a really good point. Whenever I mean, like most people that are trying to work with clients or customers, or just even in their own workflows, is just like whenever you're thinking of talking to, in this case, you or maybe an intern or a team member, is you have to actually have a flow of work that you want things to follow in the first place, and to, in your case, gather this information. So let me give you some context. Let me give you some context on how we got here, what we want this maybe to be. So for everyone that joined, we had a live stream at the very beginning of the month with a customer of ours named Anasea. And Anasea is an art e-commerce platform that has about 40,000 pieces of artwork altogether. And what they found was, as one could imagine, with 40,000 pieces of artwork, I mean, scaling that and taking all that information from all these pieces of artwork to then put them into especially like SEO optimized descriptions so that Google can actually rank them and have them searchable online. That was obviously the scaling problem that Anastea was having, and that these AI agents and our AI workers were able to basically solve for them and scale for them. So what I would say is we want to have this AI agent that can take a piece of artwork, or it could be, an image, or
That's
whatever.
what I was watched. Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
that
it exactly?
can be changed in a few different ways. We want to have it where it can take that painter's name. We want to have it so it can take the artwork name, and probably lastly, we want some information on the actual artist themselves. So it's kind of all things encompassing the piece of art that we're trying to put up on the website.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so starting from this point, from these inputs, like what would then happen? Like you would want the LLM to what? To basically take the image, take the bio, take the name of the artist, and combine all that information into an SEO friendly description for the product itself, right?
Actually, yeah, that's almost spot on. Exactly, exactly what I'm thinking in my head is like something like, okay, so it takes the artist's name and maybe the bio, and I can put in a little bit of information about that person. Then it might actually like turn it into a real good biography,
Maybe
and
the
then
artwork name as well.
yeah, actually, yeah, that's probably good. And then maybe even taking the piece of artwork and being able to dispel it down and like have it, maybe the LLM understand what that piece of artwork is to then make a description about it. So all these things go together where it's going to go then, copy and put it onto our website. Just all these descriptions in SEO optimized formats.
All right. So actually, this doesn't sound very complex. We can actually build it right now if you're interested in. If you also have an example in mind, like that would be even more helpful, because like once we're gonna put the inputs in order to test it out, we'll still need the information to fill it in, right? But let's start with the basic inputs. Like I'm just gonna try and share my screen. Let's
Nice.
see. Not this one. Just give me 1 second. So I'll
Sure.
the right screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as you're pulling up the right screen too, one thing that I would say is that this is, of course, we're talking about a client of ours, an artwork e-commerce site, in this specific example. But obviously, the information and the skills that Vlad is going to teach us here can be extrapolated to across many different industries, probably all different industries, and different marketing teams. So even though this is going to be specific to art, this is not just for art.
So going back to the platform,
Yep.
I'm in the Studio Integral. So I'm just like creating a new agent. Probably people who have attended in the past know already like what this is about. And right now I'm in the first node, which is the agent input, where we're going to be adding like a couple of inputs, right? So as you've
Yep.
mentioned, we're gonna add a couple of strings, right? So we're gonna have like what? The painter name, right?
Yep.
That would be one thing, and make sure that you're saving it, because otherwise you're gonna lose the progress. And then the second one, it's going to be what we said, artwork name.
Yep.
All right. And then what is it next? Please.
I would probably say we need the image, like the actual piece of artwork.
All right, we have it right here. Perfect. What
Cool.
else?
Okay, and then maybe the bio for the artist as well.
All right, so artist bio, would you name it? Cool.
And then maybe the last thing that I would say is, especially when it comes to artwork, Marek from Onasea was mentioning a lot that most of the time when a painter like actually creates their piece of artwork, they
Mm-hmm.
have they have a description that they have created, but it wasn't SEO optimized. So maybe even we could do something like even just like a general
Maybe like
description
this,
of yeah exactly yeah exactly
maybe something similar to that.
yeah.
So
Wait,
now,
Vlad, real quick question on this.
yes,
Um, when it comes to agent inputs,
yes.
uh, can you scroll down and just show us what options we have
We
for
have authentication token as well, enumeration, integers, lists, numbers, strings, audio, images, and any kind of files such as
okay.
CSVs, PDFs, these sort of things.
What would you say in general are the most common ones that people are going to be using?
Oh, it depends. It's different from case to case. So, for example, if we're working with, like banks which work with numbers, right? You would expect to have a lot of CSV files, but then like there are other businesses which use a lot of PDFs for different purposes. So, I wouldn't say like there is a certain type of input that is being used, but I would say the most common one is of course the string, because without the string you can't start anything, right? So the string is usually the user prompt or the user input, right? So
Okay.
everything would start from that.
Okay. So basically, what you're getting at here is that this can be customized, very
Absolutely.
very dependently on what industry you're in, customer you're
Yes.
with.
And it can be integrated anywhere. Like we
Okay.
can talk about that a little bit later, but we can integrate with anything. And now that we have this new node, the node designer, you can actually create any API call. So you're just gonna generate the integration here if you have the documentation or the curl, just like in the example, and then like you'd have everything in here. So
Oh,
it's making it super easy to actually integrate with third parties.
okay, cool. Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later. So
Uh,
first thing I think in my head is well, I actually, whatever you think is best, but from this information, what information do you think you need from me first and foremost for maybe these inputs to then give to the workflow?
You know what? Something really caught my attention. You said the artwork description is something that the artists are sometimes putting it up there, right?
Hmm.
So I'm thinking like to take it one step further. Could this be something written in their own language that would
Yes.
be required translation? I'm thinking, this could be an
Yep.
option. And
Absolutely.
for that matter, like we could just use like an LLM node, and
Hmm.
we don't need to connect it to the output yet. We're just gonna do the user prompt here,
Okay.
and then we're gonna use like a capable model such as the GPT-4 Simple. And then I'm thinking maybe in the system prompt to say that you are fine art expert, and maybe translate the user prompt in English so we can have something like standardized, right? So it
Yeah.
would be easy for everyone to follow. Um, if another language, check the grammar and spelling, and perhaps output a fine-tuned uh, a fine-tuned artwork description, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
sometimes.
So the whole idea here is that you can basically teach, go under the hood basically of this LLM and teach it exactly what you want it to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's how you use it. Like as you
Okay.
can see here on the note, like the information is coming in the user prompt, and then in the system prompt, I'm actually asking the LLM how I want him to behave or what I want it to do. Like for example, as I mentioned here, like you're a fine art expert, so it already knows that it has to behave like an art expert that understands like whatever is written in their description, and it can actually translate it and improve it to make it even better.
Great. So this is the kind of thing like where if most people have used ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Claude before, where you're starting off a prompt saying like you like basically this, you are blah blah blah, but you have to do that every iteration, basically every time you end up starting a new chatbot. But in this case, it just stays in that box the whole time. You don't have
Pretty,
to keep doing it.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Nice. Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Love it. Okay, so it can translate this into into any language basically from there. Okay, and then what else? What else from these inputs should we? Okay, so I should probably give you the painter and what I actually want this painting to be.
Yeah, and I was also thinking maybe for the artist bio,
Okay.
like could it
Yeah.
be something very long that we can concise and make it shorter? And I'm just thinking out
Yeah.
loud.
Well, the painting that I think would be interesting today, and that goes into the bio, would be the Starry Night from Vincent van Gogh.
I don't know if it's visible in the background, like the one that I have there. um,
What?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
right. Behind.
that one, right? Okay, well, that makes it. Why don't you just go and pick that up and just throw it into the agent
All right,
yourself?
but wait a second. First of all, like we need to make sure that everything is in sync, right? Because we also have like an input as an image, right? So we will need a node that can deal with that. And first of all, or not first of all, but we also need to think about like what we want at the end. We want the LLM to create a concise SEO description that can be later on used, right,
Yep.
on the website,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
So for that matter, we would need like a couple of more nodes, right?
Okay.
So this one would just take care of the translation of the artwork description, right? But then we would need a node that it's doing image to text
Okay.
because we have an image, right? So we need to do that too. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. So you can. There's a whole bunch of different nodes that you can just choose from.
Yes, absolutely. It's not just like you just put one one node and that's it.
Not just an LLM. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
another
That's
LLM. So, like you can choose from multiple LLMs here, as you can see. But I'm just gonna go with the GPT-4, maybe latest. Let's just choose the latest one because it
Yeah.
should be the most accurate one, right? So then I'm just gonna pull the image to image, the connection, right? And then in the user prompt, I'm going to connect. What is it going to be? It's going to be also this one, the artwork description.
Yep.
It's going to be the artist bio as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably the
right.
name too or something.
Wait, yeah, the painter name. Like we're gonna pretty much, put everything in here.
Yeah. Just to give it all that context, right?
Exactly, because then we can just go into it, and then like we can change and we can actually add a system prompt where we're gonna use the title. I'm thinking biography and description, right?
Okay. Yep.
To improve the understanding of the analysis of the image for the output.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. I think that.
So let's see. Use title. But I'm just saying these things, but I should also explain to the LLM like what is going on, right? Because I
Yeah.
need to use like describe this image that it's actually connected, right? The image one, and then I also wanted to use the rest as a context, right? But I need to explain it to it. So how I would do that, I would just add some text where I would say that this is the painter name and that's the artwork name, painter name, and then artwork name. I also have it here written already like this. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so like everything is going to be making sense.
Okay. You're just specifying. Okay. I see what
Yeah,
you're doing.
exactly. And then the artist biography and artist bio. Perfect. Maybe just put this down.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
gonna set it up however you would like for it to look.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can go down here and then I can be like use title, biography, and description if any, because I guess there might be cases where there is no description, right?
Yep.
To improve the understanding, um, to improve the understanding,
Yeah,
and
to create a description or something like that. Yeah, just
sorry,
to
the,
create a description, basically. Yeah, take all that information and create a description.
like this.
In the analysis of the image for the output. Do we need to tell it explicitly that we want it to create, let's say, like an SEO optimized description here, or does that?
No, that's gonna go into the next node.
Nice. Okay, then yeah, let's go ahead and just keep this one then. Perfect.
Yeah. So this would be one thing. Like, let's just reorganize a little bit so it's not gonna be crowded.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just like a
And
canvas you can move around. Okay.
yeah, and then perhaps I'm thinking to add another LLM node.
Yep.
Question now, like this SEO friendly description, where is this going into? Is it gonna go in the backend? Is it gonna be on the website and that's it? Like, or it's gonna contain different,
I would say it's going to mainly live on the website. So it will be directly visible whenever like someone scrolls through the website, clicks on, in this case, the Starry Night. It will then pop up as that description will be used on the actual website for everyone to see.
Okay. Okay. So we're not gonna have to turn it into any other format, right?
No. Nope. Just normal text.
All right. So we're gonna connect this one, and then we're also gonna connect the artwork description.
Okay.
Because we want that as well to be like one of the key factors. And then in here, again, we're gonna choose like a better model because the 3.5 sometimes it doesn't really give the right output. And maybe you can help me with the prompt for this one.
Okay.
So
I want this one to basically, if we've taken the artwork, we have.
This is sorry for interrupting. This is the marketer expert. This
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So this is the AI language model, which is like specialized in creating and formatting SEO optimized descriptions or content.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
You know what? We can even just call it like marketer expert.
Okay. Cool.
So you know exactly what this is about.
Yeah. Okay. That makes it easier. Okay.
Yeah, easier to follow for everyone else.
Yep.
All right, and we can even give it this. You are an AI language model specialized in creating and formatting SEO optimized descriptions of paintings, right?
Yep.
All right. You will receive a description, because that's what we have, of a painting and a brief artist biography. Is there anything else that we need to mention? Or
yeah, as long as it knows that we want SEO optimized descriptions for maybe to tell it's for a website. I don't know if that will change anything in the way that it responds, but other than that, as long as it's SEO optimized,
you know what? Let's try both of them and see like if the result is any different. What do you think?
Wait, quick question. I think that bottom GPT-4o node that we had, I think that was only to
this is only to translate on purpose.
Okay, so do we need to take? I feel like we need to make maybe a description. Do we need another description node then? To
yeah.
What do we have for inputs here? I guess we can. Yeah, and then I guess you're also saying we can just test these things as many times as we want, right? I mean,
yeah. I'm thinking that we can just do that. The other one that you're talking to, you're talking about like what to make sure that it's shorter, or what did you refer to? Because this one is for translation, right?
Yeah.
About making like the bio shorter, or what is it?
Yeah, like I'm just assuming like that there will be a bio that maybe this Vincent van Gogh in this case like wrote about himself, but maybe also that bio wasn't, that good. in the first place that maybe an LLM needs to make it better?
You
Or
think Vincent Van Gogh didn't know how to write about himself?
well, I mean, the
Yeah.
way that he painted about himself, he didn't think that highly of himself. It seems so.
Okay,
um,
that's
so
fair.
so yeah, I mean, I don't know. So do we have everything connected here? I mean, maybe we don't. You already have all your agent inputs connected, so it should work,
Well,
right?
we can test this out, and if we're not
Okay.
happy with the result, we can just redo it. Like, do you have an example somewhere with like the details and the image? I have it.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we need to fill out here? So we have the image will be the Starry Night.
Yeah, I
Okay,
got it.
yep. Okay, I sent that to you. Good. Let's see here. So for the art, let's just go to the artist bio. I guess is right below that, so I can ping that over to you.
All right, artist bio, I got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And then um what is it, the painter name?
Next.
I got it here as well.
Okay.
Yes, and then the artwork, right?
Okay. Yeah. You got all these. Nice.
Yep.
Send them over to you. Okay.
Artwork description. Do we have anything on that?
Let me put it right here. I can even just tell you to, what to write if you need to. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. There we go.
Perfect. You know
Okay.
what? Let's just run it and first of all save it. Very important.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
SEO marketer
Okay. Cool.
paintings. All right. Let's just quickly save it
All right.
and see what happens.
Okay. So you can see, you can follow along.
You can even see like what is the output of each node.
Okay.
So once the like the job is done, like you can come down here, press on it, like, and just see below the output.
Okay.
And
I could see how that'd be really helpful for like debugging, right? If there's ever an error or anything like that.
absolutely, like that's like the best thing ever. So if you don't like to look at it in this way, we can also go to chat with agents, and
Okay.
you can actually see it here. So that's the result. Keywords, it's even like outputting the keywords. Starry
Oh,
Night,
nice.
Van Gogh, post impression is night sky painting, swirling.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
actually pretty good. It's pretty complete.
So what would you say if you go back to the agent, so we can see the agent view? If you click into any of those nodes
Yes.
and all the models, like see like how there's all the different models, how do you know which one you should choose?
Well, this is a different story, and for that matter, we actually have a special tool here in Integral Studio, which is called the benchmark tool.
Okay.
And actually, I was thinking that you might be willing to ask me something related to this. So what I've done today, I actually created like a benchmark questionnaire, and I can show you exactly how that works. And I have this general knowledge quiz. That's how I called it. And what you normally have to do when you create a new questionnaire, you come in here, you give it a title, you give it some sort of description, and then what you do, you provide the question together with the answer, with the correct answer.
Okay.
Based on this, it's actually gonna run different LLMs against each other and against your own answers, and then based on that, it's gonna calculate and grade them and see which one is the fastest, the most cost efficient, and if it also provides an evaluation whether or not the answers provided are correct or wrong.
Okay.
So I've done that already, and I can show you like the results, how they look like. So as you can see up here, you have some summary about the cost efficiency, and then here is like related to the accuracy. And if we scroll down to actually see like what I've tested, I tested the GPT 4.5, the Claude
Oh.
3.7 Sonnet, Llama, DeepSeek, and Gemini. And as you can see here, like the GPT 4.5 with Llama and Gemini scored 600 points, while Claude scored only 590 and DeepSeek 580.
Oh.
To understand, like 100 points is the maximum that they can score. So there were 6 questions, meaning that 600 points is the grade A. Let's put it this way for the larger audience, right?
Wow.
So if I scroll down, I mean, even from above here, like you can see like the total time it took to actually answer all these 6 questions. And GPT 4.5 compared to Claude was much faster, and then Llama was even faster. And I
Wow.
think actually Llama is the fastest, and at the same time is not the cheapest though. As you can see, Gemini is like cheaper, much cheaper. So like based on these kind of things, like you can choose like which ones will suit you the best, like depending on what you're interested in. If you're interested in, to cut costs, like money wise, like if the difference is like for a couple of pennies, like probably it won't matter, but in the long term it might.
Yeah.
So as you can see, like one of the things that actually caught my attention was the fact that, as you can see, for this question, what is the smallest country in the world by land area? All of them answered that Vatican City is the one. But as you can see, like DeepSeek, it's having a whole thinking process, which is actually putting it down in text instead of, like actually giving you the answer.
Yep.
I mean,
This
it's
is
good
interesting.
for some of the things, like if you really want to understand like how it got to that point. But for example, in this scenario, it's not good at all because it's taking like a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
And, as like the evaluation says, the answer ultimately arrives at the correct conclusion that Vatican is the smallest. However, the answer could be improved by being more concise and direct, addressing the question without the lengthy thought process. So
Okay.
this is like super useful in case you don't know like what would suit best for your needs. And like you can even do it like more you know oriented on the use case that you have, rather than make it general as I did it here. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to make it in a general way so that everyone can wrap their head around it and perhaps just go in and test it out.
So this would be, yeah, I could see that this would be super useful for a client that is more or less like wanting a very, well, obviously they want the best model to not hallucinate on things. They want the best model to save them money ultimately, and then the best model that's speed wise too. And they can literally see based off of any kind of quiz, and maybe it's a different use case.
You've touched another point here, like talking about hallucination. And I know that Anton also showed that in the past, like together with the help of the rack memory and the system prompt, that's how you avoid the agent to actually hallucinate. So this is also something that we have covered in our product.
So, theoretically, even in our agent that you built, it could save each of these art pieces of artwork into a vector memory even themselves
Absolutely.
later.
Absolutely. And it wouldn't be difficult. Like I would just first of all have to come in here and just create a new set of memory that I would just call artwork.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to create a new memory set. And what I'll do if I go back to design agents, because this is like the last part that I'm interested in, right? The SEO. I'll
Yeah.
just add a new node in here, which is vector memory save. I would just pull it next to it. I would find the right memory set, artwork, and I would simply, just pull everything to embedded description.
Wow.
So now, if I run it again, it will probably take some time with image to text. But once that it's done, I can actually go in the memory management and check for that. Or we can actually make it even more interesting to see that have a different agent that you can ask questions about, like whatever you have in the memory, and then just pull that. Like that's easy as well.
So it kind of seems like a way of thinking about this is like maybe you start like how we did. We started with a few ideas and then we kept talking and we're like, wait, there's some other cooler ideas, and we
Mm,
just kept adding on to it. And yeah, so we can see it saved us straight into this vector memory. So
yeah.
like you just keep building. The whole idea is like you just keep building and building and building until you have an agent, or AI worker as we call them.
Look at this. Like, just for the sake of it, because why not? It's funny. Let's just add vector memory search.
Okay.
Let's just do this. Let's just find hardware, right? Um, Input, and then we're limiting the objects to one. relevance score to 3, return whole document. And what we're gonna do next, we're just gonna put in here the embedded description, and we're just gonna remove this one. And we're just gonna save, and we're gonna say that we want Starry Night. Let's just run and see what it does.
Is this to like ask questions about Starry Night or something?
Yeah, it's basically pulling everything. Like, this is the rag memory. So right now it's just pulling like what I gave it to the rag memory.
Huh.
So, I just asked the question, and I just wanted to show like how easy it is to actually like get this working, right? I just posted like one, like, as a user prompt, I have as an input like the Starry Night, like just keywords, right? So then it just goes into the vector memory, it searches for that because now it has it, and then it just outputs it, right?
So you could have, like, theoretically, if you're a company, obviously, that has a whole bunch of policies, a whole bunch of internal documents, you can just, it's like an internal chat bot, basically, at that point. You create it in literally 30 seconds.
And yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And the cool
Interesting.
part is that these agents, like, you can integrate them anywhere. It's like one click away to just deploy it. And once you deploy it, we basically create for you like the endpoints. Like, for example, this SEO marketer, right? Because this is already saved. If I deploy it and I go now to settings, you'll see that I have in agent SEO marketer, and then I have the post request and the get request. And I can simply just go and test them out in Postman or any other tool that can, like, test API calls. And, like, you can see that it's working
You can
easily.
like put this on, like, on your website too and stuff like that. Like
Exactly. It's super easy.
wow. Okay. And especially with nowadays of like, you can even use, this AI tool to create the code to create a website, and then you put this
Oh,
on your
yeah.
website that you created, and wow.
It's so easy, just using, for example, Claude, because from my experience so far, Claude is very good when it comes to code in general. So you can just ask Claude to create for you like a simple UI landing page where you're just either importing or putting information about artwork. It's super
Okay.
easy.
And so I think the last question I probably have, and I know I've taken so much of your time, but
Don't worry.
last question I have is, so logically speaking, if the next step would then be to take that information at the end of our agent, and then maybe like have it put it onto YouTube, put it onto our website, put it onto something else. Is there a way to connect to like any of these systems?
Yeah, absolutely. It's again like what I told you earlier, this new node designer that we have.
Oh yeah.
As long as you have access to a REST API, we can integrate with anything. So, for example, let's say that we can, Google. Maybe this is like an idea for another episode. We can just, like, find out like about YouTube's APIs, and maybe they have like an API for posting, and like it would be just a simple new node that you would add to.
And then you just connect it.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, well, yeah. Let's put a pin in that, and that would be a great future episode to even show that then. So that's awesome. I mean, I feel like this was super useful. Like
I hope
this
so.
was this was a real life example from one of our customers that took this almost this exact type of agent, and you saw how easily we were able to build it, and they were able to scale to like I said, they had 40,000 pieces of artwork, and then put all these on a website and make them Google optimizable, like all that. Like if you're in marketing, that kind of sucks. So this makes it so much easier to make those Google optimize anything, descriptions, whatever you want to call it. So this was very useful, and I want to thank you for your time today, Vlad, and tell everyone that we will continue to do these types of sessions where either it's with Vlad or one of our other engineers to teach us how customers and how we as just as individuals and builders can think about building agents ourselves in our AI Studio platform. Which, of course, if you want to try out exactly what Vlad showed here, and we'll have the recording and it'll be on our YouTube channel and everywhere for you to see, you can try this yourself and literally just like, okay, Vlad added in this GPT 4.0 node. Let me add in this node. And you can try building it for yourself and you can try that at integral.ai. Just head over to our
And
website and sign up.
I would say that it's a lot of trial and error in the
Yeah.
beginning, but once you wrap your head around it, like it will just come naturally. It's just like
Yeah.
learning, to ride the bike. Once you're able to, like hold still, like you're gonna be able to, make it with any other bikes. So
Good.
yeah,
Okay.
I would encourage everybody to just go on the platform and try it out and test it for themselves.
Awesome. Well, everyone that joined, thank you so much for joining us today and hopefully having a little fun kind of seeing how easy AI agents can be built, especially on Integral's AI platform. Because as like I said in the beginning, you've probably seen it, it's everywhere. Agentic AI is the future, and Integral is kind of ushering all of us into that agentic future here. So thank you all for joining today, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks, Vlad. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Bye.
See you later.